What's Marlon speaks live, yeah, I'm saying what they hide. History uncensored, let the real survive. Yeah, it's truth over comfort, I don't pick no side. If it shake the room a little, let the truth collide. Cause it's Marlon speaks live, no script, no disguise. I don't sell no lies, just to monetize. Cause the past still breathing and it never dies. Yeah, it's Marlon speaks live, now the truth will rise. Yo, it's Marlon speaks live, yeah, I'm saying what they hide. History uncensored, let the real survive.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Got a video I want to share with y'all. Then I'm gonna give my commentary on it. This is the Meidas channel. It's another one of my favorite channels that I watch. And yeah, we'll let them do the talking. I'll be back.
What a miserable creature rotting before our eyes, a meltdown throughout the last 24 hours like no other. Did you see Donald Trump at that GOP retreat he held at the Kennedy Center that he vandalized and calls the Trump Kennedy Center unlawfully? Did you see what he looked like? He was doing this weird thing with his hands and making strange noises. I mean, look at his face there, the bronze-looking face, the weird gestures. I'll show you how international news was reporting on this, where they had to translate what he was saying when he was going, What an utter humiliation. Then last night, Donald Trump takes to social media to post the following: I'm pleased to announce that the interim authorities in Venezuela will be turning over between 30 and 50 million barrels of high-quality sanctioned oil to the United States of America. This oil will be sold at its market price, and that money will be controlled by me as the President of the United States to ensure it is used to benefit the people of Venezuela and the United States. I have asked Energy Secretary Chris Wright to execute this plan immediately. It will be taken by storage ships and brought directly to unloading docks in the United States. Thank you for your attention to this matter! Explanation point. Now,
and this dude, Donald Trump, is crazy. Man, we got a whole lunatic running this country. A whole lunatic.
You don't have the authority to control this money. Let's be very clear. Although MAGA Mike Johnson and the MAGA Republicans in the Senate don't give a crap about what their role is. Also, 30 to 50 million barrels is about a day and a half to 2 days of oil. And it's valued at about, what, $2 to $3 billion. And who are you coordinating this with? Because all the latest reporting from the oil industry is that they have no clue what you are talking about, and they don't want to make the capital expenditures in Venezuela. They say they don't need to make the capital expenditure. So who in the world are you actually even talking to right now? As Anna Kramer from Notice writes, since Saturday, I've been trying to understand how the U.S. oil industry actually benefits from the Maduro ouster. Where I've landed, the experts are confused. The industry itself is a bit baffled. Trump is out on a limb on this one. And if you understand the type of sticky oil that exists in Venezuela and how it then needs to be refined, and the fact that you probably need to invest about $100 billion in Venezuela. Most oil companies, the big, beautiful oil companies that Donald Trump talks about, don't want to make those capital expenditures. So that's why Donald Trump's been floating now, right away, by the way, that the taxpayers will subsidize the oil companies to the tune of $100 billion. So while Donald Trump has ripped away your health care, refused to extend the Affordable Care Act subsidies, Donald Trump's plan is to make the taxpayers pay $100 billion to fund oil companies going into Venezuela, because otherwise they'll lose money. And at the same time, Donald Trump gave, what, 40 to 50 billion dollars to Argentina, or even more. And then Donald Trump just announced, did you hear this, in the past 24 hours, that he would be revoking $10 billion in child care services for blue states like New York, California, Minnesota, Colorado, and others. Child care services.
Dumb motherfucker. This the biggest, dumbest president in the world. He going against his own people, the people that did the blue states. Man, I ain't never seen no shit like this in my life. And for this country been. So I'm gonna say this, and that's why I titled my video what I did. If they lie, they will steal. If they steal, they will kill, right? And that is the hallmark of the living devil. So a liar will eventually burn. After they kill, they will burn a house. They'll burn and destroy. So to lie, kill, steal, and destroy. That's what the devil, the living, walking devil, does. And so when I say that, I'm not saying all white people are the devil, but white supremacy is the devil. That spirit, white supremacy, is the living devil. This whole system. And so since this country was built on white supremacy, that system, this country represents the living devil. So I'm just sharing this video as a current example, and I'm give my commentary on it only because Meidas, being Meidas, he don't speak with my tone. This is not his message. So this is my message, but I'm gonna use his video as a current example of the living, walking devil. I'm not gonna do too many because this is one of my favorite channels though. I do watch his channel a lot, but man, they a machine. Like they crank out so much content, and I don't have that capability right now to do that. I hope to have that capability. Like I said, my goal is to get to 1,000 subscribers before the 23rd. I'm at almost 500. So let's get to at least 500. So if you like this, please subscribe to my channel. My watch hours is up. I'm doing good on that end. I just need to get my subscribership up. So yeah, let's get monetized, man. So I can hopefully one day get me a team of people to do what the Meidas Touch network is doing and create a network, the Marlon Speaks Network. You know what I mean? Yeah, let's continue with this video.
Isn't it a common theme with this regime that they use children as pawns? That the first group of people that they always seem to want to attack are the children, starve the children, remove the child care services, cover up the Epstein files. Speaking of which, even the QAnon shaman no longer supports Donald Trump. Yes.
The QAnon. If y'all not familiar, they are weird. Historically, they've been a weird group of people that believe the elites are preying on kids, preying on babies, and drinking their. Man, it's a rabbit hole. The QAnon people, it's a deep, dark rabbit hole, stuff that they believe in. But basically, this group was really like historically a French right-wing community or group. They supported MAGA, supported Trump historically. but not no more. So yeah, check this out.
Books, the QAnon shaman says, I've moved on. When you are in MAGA and you lose QAnon shaman, that's saying something. Take a look at QAnon shaman right here. Play this clip.
Still a Trump supporter?
No. I thought you knew that.
Why not?
The man
He looked like me. He got a beard like
alone
me.
refusing to release the Epstein
He
client
hard.
list was enough for me and I think a lot of other people to be like, okay, this is bullshit.
Then I mentioned earlier how international media is
Damn, that's what it took. See, that's the crazy part, man. A lot of y'all MAGA people, it's taking the Epstein files, which now, mind you, that them allegations are like probably the worst thing ever. But for me, I'm not gonna side with a liar and a thief, you know, and a murderer. You know, I'm not gonna side with that. You know, I'm not gonna be down with him from the lie. So, you know, it took for y'all to see something about some kids, which like I said, is the worst. But y'all damn near culpable to it at this point. All of you MAGA supporters, y'all might as well keep on supporting them. Yeah, y'all might as well just keep on. I think that's why a lot of y'all still support them, because it's like y'all realize it's too late. You know what I mean? Like, you know, it ain't gone too far. You might as well just die with them. Just like a lot of the Hitler supporters. They just say, you know what? I might as well just die with this guy. That's sad, man. It take that. Like y'all are literally worshiping a man, worshiping a person, a human being. Somebody that, you know, that used the bathroom just like you. It's crazy.
is covering Donald Trump's maniac press conference, retreat, whatever the hell you want to call that thing before the GOP yesterday. Take a look at how foreign press had to cover this while Donald Trump was moaning and making weirdo sounds. Play this clip.
خیلی با وزنه برداری فرق میکنه. ببینید من میخوام بیشتر از این بگم، ولی حالا نداره، بقیه دارن تماشا میکنن، دوست دارم اینجوری یه ذره اینجا به خود این وزنه بلند کن روی میله.
So yesterday, Donald Trump's White House official rapid response account was doing some interesting, weird, despicable, disgusting, traitorous, treasonous things. On the rapid response account, they were doing AI videos of Governor Tim Walz in Minnesota, and they were saying, he's very stupid, he's low IQ, he's Tampon Tim's daycare. I just want to highlight this because this is not normal adult behavior by Donald Trump and these MAGA Republicans. The level of immaturity, the level of just disgustingness. I mean, just who behaves like this? Tampon Tim's daycare, like y'all think that's like funny, and who like goes, oh, ho, 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 very funny, Donald. So they were doing that. Then on the official White House account, as you know, we reported yesterday, and I'm sure you heard, the White House gave its own fake, false disinfo timeline of January 6th, and they blamed January 6th on the Capitol police officers.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to point out about them lying too. This is another lie, another recent lie that man, I can't imagine what the relatives of those, you know, people that lost their lives on that day, how they are reacting to this, man. And you know what? Actually, we're gonna find out. I'm gonna find out. You know, we gonna find out. I'm gonna find some type of videos on the actual relatives of the people that lost their life and try to see if I can get a reaction from them. You know, some type of reaction from the family of the relatives. You know, or from the relatives of the people that lost their lives on January 6th, 5 years ago in 2021. Man, I can't imagine this president and this administration spinning a narrative that it was their fault that they lost their lives. That is the craziest stuff I've ever heard. And he's supposed to back the blue. I also want to see what the blue reaction, the police's reaction to Donald Trump saying that that it was the police fault for them losing their life trying to do their job. It's sickening.
So while the Capitol Police officers were testifying during shadow hearings led by the Democrats that MAGA Republicans refused to participate, and the MAGA Republicans refused to put up the plaque that under a law is required to memorialize January 6th and the courage of the officers on January 6th.
Wow.
MAGA Republicans refused to hang up the freaking plaque, okay? And they're just supporting Donald Trump's lies about January 6th. This is how Donald Trump
This is the one thing I will say. This is the one thing I will say about this administration. They aren't ashamed of being the devil. They aren't ashamed of showing how wicked they are. And if you ask any Black American, we don't like it, but we like, okay, like y'all letting everybody see how wicked y'all are. We can kind of, not necessarily respect it, but at least we know, at least everybody know what they working with, right? Moving forward, you know who you're dealing with. You're dealing with the living devil. They are not trying to pretend. As much as they say that they all about God, and bro, please y'all believe it. These people are the living, walking devil. What they represent is the living, walking, is that spirit of the living, breathing devil on earth. Going to and fro. Just busy on this earth, tearing it up. That's what these people represent. So this don't surprise any Black American. Please believe. We just kind of like surprised that they just not ashamed at all. We just kind of surprised because this haven't been the hallmark of these wicked people in this country.
The timeline of what went down on January 6th. Capitol Police response escalates tensions. Capitol Police aggressively fire tear gas, flashbangs, and rubber munitions into crowds of peaceful protesters, injuring many and deliberately escalating tensions. And then Donald Trump says at 2:24, Trump urges calm. This is on the official White House website. How gross. How Putin-esque is this? I mean, we all saw what happened on January 6th. And just be clear, if Donald Trump is willing to lie about this, he lies about everything. He's the only person.
Yeah, he lies about everything. That's right. And that's the theme of this video, lies. You lie, you will steal. And that's why I want to add my commentary, because Ben isn't going to go into this. If you lie, you will steal. If you steal, you will kill. Like, we know he a liar, so we know he a thief. Now he stole that, he's stealing oil, stealing from this country. And we know he's a murderer as well. Over there bombing Nigeria. He bombing Venezuela. He only bombing places that got people that's dark. That's it. That's it. So that's where that white supremacy racist component come in. And that, to me, like I said, that's the living, walking devil. That spirit represent the living, walking devil in the flesh. Sickening.
Person to use oil as a way to cover up what his true intentions are of invading Venezuela, which is likely to hide the Epstein files and to further the cover up of the Epstein files. The first time in history, he admits that the reason was oil, but that was the cover up for the Epstein files distraction. So Trump says at 2:24, as events unfold, Donald Trump calls for peace, tweeting support for law enforcement and releasing a video saying, "Go home in peace." Really? Because on January 6, 2024, at January 6 at 2:24 p.m., this was Donald Trump's post. Mike Pence did not have the courage to do what should have been done to protect our country and our Constitution, giving states a chance to certify a corrected set of facts, not the fraudulent or inaccurate ones which they were asked previously to certify. USA demands the truth. That's what he was posting. Now, going back to Venezuela for a moment as well, the Maduro regime successor, Delcy Rodriguez, who's now in charge, who's an authoritarian. The Maduro successor regime, authoritarians, by the way, who are also still aligned with Iran and Russia and China, they are now engaging in a wave of repression against anybody who challenges the regime. So here's the Washington Post headline: "Fear grips Caracas as new wave of repression is unleashed in Venezuela. Residents describe being pulled over, questioned, and forced to hand over their phones. Armed men scroll through their messages and social media looking for anything that could be construed as support for the U.S. raid. Venezuela's government launched a far-reaching crackdown after Maduro's ouster, detaining journalists and civilians and sending armed gangs to the streets. You basically have paramilitary roaming the streets of Venezuela right now, and if there's any dissent against the current regime, they are being disappeared."
Wow. Yeah, this is like in the Black community, we got a bunch of them. And actually, I got some content coming. Look for it actually after this video. Look for that. Look for in Black America how we got the same type of people within our community here in this country. We got the same exact kind of people that, you know, after we've been violated, they will do anything and everything to support the violation. So yeah, that spirit, that what I was talking about, the white supremacy, that spirit is inside of the dark people. That's why I said it's a spirit. So it's not all white people that have that spirit. A lot of white people don't have that spirit, but that spirit is actually inside of a lot of the people that it was intended to hurt. So yeah, you're gonna have a lot of Venezuelans at this point, like what he's saying, that support Trump, that support being violated. They support it because it lines their pockets. And so that's what you have in the Black community here in America. You have a lot of Black people that support being violated because they are personally benefiting from the violation. Sickening.
This is what the Trump regime is doing. Here's what we're learning as well. There was also large crowds showing support for Maduro and Delcy Rodriguez. Now, they're probably terrified in Venezuela over everything that's happening right now, and perhaps they thought for a moment that there could be democracy there, but Donald Trump squashed that and propped up Maduro's successor. It would be like if Donald Trump was ousted and then J.D. Vance became the president.
Exactly.
That's what it's like to get rid of Maduro and bring in Delcy Rodriguez. So you have all of these like Donald Trump and all these MAGAs are like, the people in Venezuela are cheering for democracy.
No, they're not.
They're
in
cheering
the call.
that they're free. No, they're not. That's not what's happening in Venezuela. What's happening in Venezuela is you have paramilitary and secret police repressing people, going through their phones, disappearing people who show support for the United States, and then you have pro-Maduro protests taking place inside Venezuela. Now, again, they're probably terrified, which is why they're doing these pro-Maduro protests, but there are massive pro-Maduro and pro-government and pro-regime protests right there. Here's how it's being reported by the Times. A large crowd supporting the ousted President Maduro marched through the streets of Caracas on Tuesday, demanding his release from American jail. While Venezuela's interim leader, Delcy Rodriguez, made it clear the regime he put in place remained in power. She said, "The government of Venezuela runs our country, no one else. There is no external agent governing Venezuela," directly contradicting Trump. There appeared to be a few thousand people marching, but it was not possible to verify the amount. You see the people here, showing the B-roll right here of the people at the protest. At the same time, the Venezuelan government was exerting its control of the country with reports of checkpoints, searches of citizens' phones, detentions of journalists, and the arrest of at least 2 people celebrating Mr. Maduro's capture. There were virtually no signs of opposition on the streets. The so-called colectivos, or armed government militias, were out in full force on the streets of the capital in recent days, and some citizens said they had been interrogating people and searching their phones for signs of support of the U.S. attack. We also learned that at least 75 individuals were killed during the United States raid or
there you go.
invasion.
So if you lie, you will steal. If you steal, you will kill. Yep, they killed some innocent people. Man. Wow, 75 people. That's a lot of people, man, to die in one whop. Gotta pray for them people. God, I should cover them 75 people lost their lives. Venezuela. And the Father, Son, yeah, that's a lot of people to die in one whop like that, man. All them people got to get funerals together. Man, sad.
Venezuela. Most of them were Cubans who were guarding Maduro, but others were killed as well. At least 75 deaths. 7 American soldiers were injured. And while all of that's going on, you have Caroline Leavitt, Trump's chief propagandist here, putting out the following statement regarding Greenland. The White House yesterday put out those lies about J6. They put out AI videos of Tim Walz saying tampon Tim, and they put out this statement right here. President Trump has made it well known that acquiring Greenland is a national security priority of the United States, and it's vital to deter our adversaries in the Arctic region. The president and his team are discussing a range of options to pursue this important foreign policy goal, and of course, utilizing the U.S. military is always an option at the commander-in-chief's disposal. Again, threatening war.
This motherfucker is the craziest. This is the craziest president, man. I can't believe y'all voted for this clown. This is sickening, man. I mean, I can't stand to watch it. It's sickening.
Very obvious terms against Greenland. This as Denmark, since Greenland is part of the Kingdom of Denmark. Denmark held confidential emergency parliament meetings yesterday to prepare for possible U.S. invasion of Greenland. The Prime Minister of Canada, Mark Carney, met with the Prime Minister of Greenland, Mette Frederiksen, in order to show support for the sovereignty there. But this is what the Trump regime is doing. Now, finally, what this is also about is covering up the Epstein files. We now have a DC bureau at the Meidas Touch Network, and if you want to support the growth of our DC bureau, go to MeidasPlus.com and subscribe to our Substack, by the way, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. But go to MeidasPlus.com, become a subscriber there. That's one of the ways we've been able to grow this independent media platform. But a guy by the name of Pablo Manriquez has joined the Meidas Touch Network, and he interviewed Thomas Massie, Republican, who was the leader of that discharge petition to release the Epstein files, with Ro Khanna. They did it on a bipartisan basis. And here's what Massie told our reporter on the Hill, Pablo Manriquez. Let's play it.
For the fact that these Epstein files still, there are millions of more documents that they're still reviewing at this point.
You know, if this were a private law firm with 5% of the resources of the DOJ, this would have been done by the deadline. And they just missed another deadline, which is the report to Congress, which is supposed to list all of the politicians that are in their files. And also, they're supposed to justify all the redactions 15 days after the first 30-day window. But the biggest problem isn't that they're missing the deadlines, it's what they're redacting. So they're citing the Privacy Act, and they're trying to pretend like that overrides a law that we just passed that says you can't withhold records to prevent embarrassment. They're also citing...
See, and this is another reason why Black Americans really don't care too much about the Epstein files and the whole fallout of it, is because we know that the people that make the laws don't follow the laws. They never have. The people that make the laws in this country are lawless. So this is why it was so important for a Black person to be, for Black people with melanin, Black Americans, to run this country. Right now is the time, specifically a Black woman. This is the time for a Black woman to rescue this country and this from itself. Because see, now that we got Trump, this is the exact opposite. All hell has broken loose. But the only good thing about it is that everybody can see what Black Americans have been saying for hundreds of years. Native Americans as well. We've seen this from the time they touched foot on this land, that they've been lawless. Just a whole group of criminals. Just lawless. So, yeah, every time you have people that make the law that's lawless, this is nothing new. Nothing new. This is what happens when you. This is the culmination, and that's what I call Trump's this administration. This is the culmination of a country built on lies. Now they don't even hide it no more. They used to hide it, but they can't hide it no more. Just the way that this world works. You know, as a criminal, if you commit crime in today's climate in general, you're caught on camera. You're caught. So yeah, it just makes sense to not lie, you know, because you caught. Everything is video, you know, everything is recorded nowadays. So the devil in today's world isn't going to lie. The devil is going to do what the devil does right in front of everybody's face. And that's the sad part, that this culture has now fully accepted it and aren't pretending. But the good thing about it is the same thing, that this culture isn't lying to itself and is just accepting that they are wicked. Yeah. So that's the only good thing. But Black America has never trusted no lawmakers. So it don't matter to us. So that's why we don't care about the Epstein files as much as, you know, a lot of you know, MAGA people and other, you know, white America. We don't care. We don't care. It's like, oh, now y'all starting to be affected by it. But we've been affected by lawlessness.
FOIA standards, which don't apply to our law when they're trying to say that they don't have to release internal decisions. But our bill specifically says release internal decisions.
So what are you
Man, He know that they don't care about no law.
to do about it.
We're looking at that.
He ain't gonna do nothing. Nothing. He ain't gonna do nothing. He said, "What you gonna do about it? You not gonna do nothing because this country, the lawmakers don't care about the law. They never have."
There you have it, folks. Let me know what you think about all of this. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million. We appreciate you so much.
Let's read the comments, man. This person said, "The people who are not horrified at the current state of the U.S. horrify me the most." Yeah, I'll say that's valid. That's valid. How extremely sad and disgusted that he was elected president twice. I swear. Ooh, I'm actually still tripping that he was even elected once. My eyes saw what happened on January 6th. No further gaslighting needed. I swear, man. When is this maniac going to be stopped? No, he ain't going to be stopped. Let's read the responses to that. Just as soon as we, the people, stop waiting for somewhere else. Right. Stop waiting for somewhere else to do it. Right. Somebody said, "What is your suggestion exactly? Voting? How's that working out for us?" And somebody else said, "Yes, voting is very important to get our voices heard. The midterms are coming up. It's a very important election. I understand you're being cynical about it all. There's more of us than there are of the MAGAs. A few Democrats have won elections. I choose to be hopeful in November. We got to be. He doesn't own the White House. We do. All of us have the strength to fight this regime. Dump is weak." Yeah, yeah, I love this comment. That was about an hour ago. I love your optimism, and I am taking some of that for myself. Keep it up. Yeah, we know what that means. Get ready. Be prepared. Yeah, they're gonna be trying to overturn elections. I love your enthusiasm. But fear is wishful thinking. There will be no midterms and probably no more elections. If Trump and his mafioso are still around by November, waiting and praying is not an option. Neither is placard waving. Nationwide peaceful civil disobedience and direct action is your only salvation. But that takes cohesion of society. And in the dog-eat-dog, money-whispering, violent culture of America, we and the rest of the world have no faith in your people's ability and therefore have to prepare for the worst. Wow. Somebody else said, "Democrats work for the GOP. Try again, blue MAGA." Wow. Yeah, that's basically white supremacy. Yeah, white supremacy, man. Like, Democrats and Republicans share in that spirit. It's a lot of well-wishing Democrats that on the outside, but spiritually they share in that white supremacy. When he dies, somebody said when he dies. Wow. Trump removed the memorial to black soldiers in the cemetery in the Netherlands. Men who fought and died for your country. It's absolutely heartbreaking. Yeah, this don't surprise us, man. Anything that this regime or this administration does in reference to black people, we don't care. That's the thing. That is the thing. Black people do not care about what this regime, and if anybody cares, just like how they trying to rewrite January 6th, if anybody care, like, you wasting your energy, man. You wasting your energy. Shoot, this guy is so Looney Tune. It's like responding to a retired, somebody that's mentally ill. You just pray for him. You know what I'm saying? You got to pray for Trump, man. Like, he's unwell. You know what I mean? The immature and pathetic being who is Trump is always given a free pass from the Republicans. Sick. Yeah, that's why a lot of them going to prison. He will be lining his pockets again. He is a disgrace. Yeah, he is. Can someone please get a straitjacket on this psychotic lunatic? I swear. He officially lost his mind even more. Where is the rest of the government? No one is stopping him. 25th Amendment now. He needs a nurse, not the White House. Mike Johnson and Mark Rubio justifying Trump's insanity yesterday is even more insane, yeah? We in the UK are watching with all this, with utter horror. Trump must be removed for the sake of the world. Yeah, regardless, the world gonna keep on going. America don't run nothing. That's all been a trick anyway. That trick is being overturned right now. Cutting childcare services because that's how to get the support of the people. Yeah. You don't want no support. He is treating the USA like it's his own personal bank account. Disgusting. That's what you get when you elect Biff. You elect Biff in the office. Congress, where are you? Stop this madness. I am Canadian, and the media turned him off after a very short while. Once they noticed he was unhinged, they switched to important news. Yeah. The outrageousness of lies, the absolute ludicrousness. MAGA is slowly learning. Yeah, you think so? I think they going right down that rabbit hole with them. Rewriting history is what fascists do. Yeah, that is what they do. How those people can clap at this mad ramblings, his mad ramblings is incomprehensible. Yeah, I agree. Miserable, rotting creature, well said. That fool is dangerous, viral liar. Yeah, he is. Yeah, but, like I said, this country was built on dangerous, viral liars. So it's just his is more, outward. His is more more he not hiding it. If we don't keep up the pressure about Congress will never do anything about getting them released. It's time to drag Pam Bondi into Congress today. Nah, man, you know what? That's what I said earlier. Black Americans, we don't care. We don't care about the Epstein files so much as we're kind of glad that everybody can see how lawless this country is. That illusion is over. No more trying to make it seem like this is the place that has any morals. It never had any morals. And Black America is kind of glad that this country is showing that it never had any morals. Like that is showing that it doesn't care about morals or trying to be morally superior anymore. This country was never morally superior. It's always been morally bankrupt. That be the thing, man. It be tripping me out when I see people, especially white Americans. They always try to act like oh, this is such a surprise. And this isn't like that around. Yeah, it is. It's yes, it is. You wouldn't have your so-called quality of life if it wasn't for a bunch of crimes. You know, so that's what be tripping me out when I hear a lot of white Americans talk about this. This doesn't happen around here. It only happens around here, like that. You know, that's what be tripping me out, man. Like the illusion that this country is somehow morally superior to anywhere is an absolute, like, and that's the scariest part. Like one of them people said, you know, seeing how the people reacting or supporting Trump is actually worse. And that's what I say about, you know, the reaction to any and everything that seemed to be bad on the surface from a lot of Americans, white America especially, you know, like somehow murdering and lying and stealing don't happen here when actually this country was built on murdering and stealing and lying. So that's it just tripped me out when I hear it always blow my mind how that doesn't happen around here. Where you think you at? Where do you think you are at? It only happened. That's what the foundation of this country is, to lie, steal, and kill. Those three things. That is what this country do. Lie, steal, and kill. That's what this country is based on. So white America, we black Americans are glad y'all finally waking up, but it just, to us, is like, damn, it shouldn't have took no weirdo Epstein for y'all to wake up, but okay, we'll take it. But yeah, man, look, y'all get in the comments. Let me know what y'all think. I'm out. I'll be right back real soon. One.
Live, yeah, I'm saying what they hide. History uncensored, let the real survive. Yeah, it's truth over comfort, I don't pick no side. If it shake the room a little, let the truth collide. Cause it's Marlon speaks live, no script, no disguise. I don't sell no lies, just to monetize. Cause the past still breathing and it never dies. Yeah, it's Marlon speaks live, now the truth will rise. Yo, it's Marlon speaks live, yeah, I'm saying what they hide. History uncensored, let the real survive.